Hello and welcome to Grandpa's Toolkit. I'm Grandpa. It's a delight to have you with us. In a previous video, we talked about 10 basic tools you should have in your home. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about other tools that you might want to add to your tool collection. Now, the question is really the tools that you get depends on what you do and what interests you. If you're looking for home maintenance and just simple DIY projects to keep your house beautiful and functioning well, then most of what you have is already there. The one thing that I would like to add to that list is a power drill. This is a battery-powered drill. I've had this for a number of years. This is Milwaukee brand. There's a lot of name brands that are very good, and I'd recommend that if you do choose to buy a power drill, get one of a recognized national brand. There's several of them, and even store brands from Harbor Freight, Home Depot, Lowe's, Ace Hardware, or whatever is in your area. Those are usually pretty good. The batteries, you'll need to make sure they stay charged. You don't want to go do a project and find out you forgot to charge your battery. So once you're done, put the battery on the charger. Or the battery powered drill is a great thing. I've gone through two corded drills, and they were wonderful, but I had to run cords everywhere I wanted to do something. So having the battery power really makes that easy. As you consider that battery-powered drill, think also about other projects you'll want to do and see if there are battery-powered tools that will help you with that job. I can tell you we not only have the Milwaukee brand, we also have a Ryobi brand drill, and with that we also have a small circular saw, but then we also have a variety of gardening tools that work on the same battery. So for us, that's been a win to have multiple batteries that we can just switch out and swap, and if we forget to charge a battery, we have 2 or 3 others that we can count on being charged. One of the things you might want to consider is, as I said before, the project you want to do. Do you want to build bookshelves? Well, that means you'll want to have a saw that works, and your handsaw will work, but you may find that you want to go to an electric saw. And there are all kinds. I've got a jigsaw. Here's my jigsaw. This has been around with me for a long time, and it has a blade for wood on it right now. One of the great things about the jigsaw, the blade is easily swapped out for a different blade, and this one is kind of a rough cut, but they can make fine tooth for doing trim work, but you can also get a blade for cutting metal. And I think that has been a lifesaver for me in a lot of different things. The one thing about the jigsaw is if I'm doing a long straight cut, this is a difficult saw to use, and so I use a circular saw. So that is something to consider as you choose which saw you want and which will serve you better for your projects. Another thing which I would recommend is a level. This is a level. They come in all different sizes, from just one about 9 inches long called a torpedo level to some that are 6 feet long or longer that they use in concrete work to make sure things are smooth and level and appropriate. Now, the way a level works is I'm going to just zoom this up real quick. You can see a little bubble in there, and when the bubble is right in the middle, that's when your level, or this way, if the level's in the middle, you're straight up and down. These are great for hanging shelves if you're putting up shelves, or for making sure your pictures are hanging straight. One of the things I want to warn you about is don't measure from the floor or the ceiling to the top of your or bottom of your picture if you're hanging it, because floors and ceilings are not exactly perfectly level and straight. So you could end up with cockeyed pictures. So get a level. If you don't want to buy a level, one of the levels that I own is actually an app on my phone, and it's called Bubble Level. It's free. There is some advertising, but I don't find the advertising onerous, difficult to put up with. It's just a simple ad as you switch in between the going this horizontal to vertical, and they even have a center bubble for making sure you're level both, this way. So I don't know what that's called, horizontal, but a front and back and side to side as well. So that's been a great tool that I've used for hanging pictures and all kinds of things like that. If you're going for other things, like you want to do repairs to your walls for holes, that was one of the questions we had from a couple people. I need to fix holes in my wall. You'll want to get a putty knife. This is a putty knife, and this is great for holes that are, an inch or so big. Beyond that, if you have a bigger hole, you'll want to get what's called a taping knife, and they can be all the way up to 8, 12, even 14 inches wide. And that's what professionals use to get a nice smooth contact as they put up what they call mud. That is a compound that they use to cover edges in drywall. If you're doing bathroom work and you need to fix the caulk that's in your bathroom, here's a caulk gun. And you have little tubes like this, and these tubes, buy the water cleanup ones, because that's much easier to use. Let it dry well and cure, so 24 hours out of that area typically, and then you can shower or use the sink or whatever without it being damaged. But the caulk gun works great for replacing that caulk, and you cut it out, use this. We'll do a video on how to do that in a few shows, so stand by for that. We'll also do one on hanging pictures that are even, so we'll talk about levels a little more about that. And so this is the kind of thing, caulk gun, very inexpensive. The caulk you can look at and say which one works best for me. If you have tools that you think would be great for a beginner, let me know. You can post it in the comments below. And thank you for joining me in Grandpa's Toolkit. Again, I'd like to encourage you, be kind to one another. Let's extend grace and forgiveness, because we have all done things we are a little embarrassed about, and grace will help cover that. So have a wonderful day. And again, thanks for joining me.